Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to my channel. So today, guys, like always, another weekly Forex analysis for you. On the screen, other pairs will be analyzing today, but like always, guys, stay to the end of the video, so we'll be breaking down each pair, going through what's happened this week and potentially what could be happening during next week as well. But with all that said, guys, let's just get straight into it. Okay, so first up we got Euro USD like usual. So for this pair we did see a nice move to the downside. We did see that overall bearish trend continue, which we were expecting. Overall the momentum to the downside is not as aggressive as I would have expected, like we've seen in recent weeks where price has been really bearish. We did see that for pound USD, which we'll get onto later. Again, we had some fundamental reasons because of that, but Euro USD, after this big drop we had the previous week, was expecting that momentum to really continue. However, we did see some healthy retracement, but price was kind of struggling to see that downside move until it had that double top, and then it saw the move to the downside. But essentially we were looking for sells coming into the week. We had two key areas in the market we were saying sells were looking good from, which was this support and resistance, and also this key level here running through the market of price support there, support, resistance. Price kind of got in between those two levels, found some resistance, formed that double top, and then saw that move to the downside, and we're looking for a push into these lows and potentially 1.15. kind of just missed that, but overall the market is still quite bearish. So coming into next week, what we're expecting, still expecting further downside, but because price is finding support here, really struggling to break through this low, and the fact that we'll lose momentum is giving me the sign that potentially we could see Euro USD start to reverse soon. I'm not going to say that just now because, again, still in a bearish market, DXY is still in a bullish market. There's no real evidence sign that will change in direction, but momentum dying out is one sign. So overall, still looking for sells for Euro USD coming into next week. Do have this nice area here of support and resistance, or this double top area here, which we will be looking to sell from. If we take out both these levels, then we'll change the bias to bullish. We'll wait for some retracement, and I'm expecting price to come back into these highs up here, and maybe test 1.17 up there, nice psychological level. So overall looking for sells for Euro USD. See if you can get some nice retracement for this one. I still think there's room to the downside. Go and test 1.15 there, or just these lows, depending how aggressive you want to take your trade. Or if we do turn bullish, we'll be looking at the flip side of these levels, acting as support. And then we'll be taking these back to highs. So I can see that reversal happening, but so far the market is still bearish, so still looking for those sells as long as we stay below that level, looking for a move back down to the lows and then 1.15. Okay, so now moving on to USD JPY. So USD JPY this week, again, we had another sell bias for this pair this week. Again, prices had quite a big move to the outside, and we're expecting prices to start to retrace back down again for us. Looking on the weekly time frame quickly, again, we still got this level of resistance which we're looking to sell from. You can see really strong reactions from this level, and taking that across is the level that price is holding so far. So we've still got that sell bias, still expecting to see a dip to the downside because of this weekly level, and see that retracement. Going on to the 4H time frame, you can see prices found a little bit of a level of resistance here, and has had numerous attempts at trying to break through it, 1, 2, 3, 4, and still failing to break through this. So this is a real sign that price is failing to go bullish, and that the bears are still holding firm, and we could be seeing that momentum come through. Now, as you can see, it does look like we're starting to put in these lower highs now as well, which is also another sign that the bears are winning this battle. So I'm expecting price to take a dip to the downside this week for USD JPY. We do still kind of have this support here. Looks like price can close below just about this week, but not the most convincing close, but I still do expect to see that move to the downside. So looking for opportunities this week back down to 112 all the way down here, which is simply just prior resistance here on the left. Never got retested, so still fresh resistance, now turn fresh support for us to come and test. So that's what I'm looking for, price to come fill this gap to the downside. And as you can see, price action is quite clean down the left, so we could be seeing quite a nice breakout if this does happen. So looking for two areas in the market to sell from. Either we can see this momentum continue, waiting for the pullback to test that as resistance. Then we'll be looking for sells at this area here. Again, stop loss above. Again, wait for your confirmations. And then we'll be taking that trade back down to 112. Again, the risk to reward will be looking very, very good, depending what entry and what type of entry time frame you use. Or all the way back up here, if we come back for a fifth test of this resistance. Again, guys, if this resistance still stays intact, there's still another valid place to sell, and expecting the market to turn bearish, which again is looking like very, very healthy risk to reward. If we can get a trade like that, either which way, I'm expecting a big drop to the downside for USD back down to these lows. The only way this doesn't happen is if we come up and take out this resistance. Then we'll probably see that momentum turn bullish, and maybe probably hit the next psychological level at 115. But yeah, clear signs to the downside, looking for sales and break and retest of that resistance or that level up there, back down to 112 for next week. Okay, so next up we've got USD CAD. So USD CAD, again, it looks like we've had a breakout to the upside here, a bit of strength on the USD this week. Again, as you can see, price has been consolidating for the past few days, and I said wait for a daily close above, not 4 hour, because 4 hour, as you can see, if I go to the 4H time frame, we've had a lot of false breaks there with the 4H time frame. I want to use the daily because, again, I've used the daily to draw that box. So we saw the nice breakout there. I believe that was on Tuesday. Saw the retest there on Wednesday, and Thursday we had the nice continuation to the upside there. Nice retest, and as you can see, nice continuation. So we were looking for those buys there for USD CAD, and we were looking for a push into this level here, 1.25, which we kind of just about missed, but essentially we were looking for that push into that level. And again, still taking into account that the overall momentum in the market is still with the bears. Big moves to the downside. This price action here is likely just to be retracement for price to turn bearish again. So we'll be now looking at sells again at this level here, because really strong support, and as you can see, did fund that big move to the upside. Will now be turning resistance. So we'll be looking for sells in this area, and we'll be looking to take this trade back down into that same support, which price started to consolidate at. So looking for sells next week for USD CAD. Hopefully we can hold that resistance there, and there will be some nice sells from this level. Again, wait for some rejection, and then maybe you can drop to the smaller time frames if you want to maximize your risk reward. But looking for a push all the way down to 1.23 and maybe even further as well. But we'll look for a push into that support, because we have rejected that numerous times. So looking for a swing back down to 1.25, back down to 1.23 for next week for USD CAD.
Sorry to interrupt the video, guys, but if you are enjoying the content and you find it useful, make sure you go hit the subscribe button down below, and also make sure you drop a like as well. It really does help the channel out. But anyway, back to the video.
And next we're going to move on to Euro Pound. So Euro Pound, we saw price finally break to the upside. Again, we had a few pairs consolidating last week, and as you can see, Euro Pound it's one of those pairs that has now broken to the upside. So I did say either wait for a break to the upside or to the downside, and we can look for those continuations. If we did break to the upside, look for price to get above this level, use that support, and look for that continuation. And as you can see, we did exactly that there for Euro Pound. So Euro Pound looking quite bullish, but overall, this market is still bearish. So I'm still looking for those sales to take this one back down again. Again, was looking at push from this level, but prices broke through that. Again, we had some pound news that came out, and as you can see, that did really affect Euro Pound there. So I've obviously broken through that level. Next level I will be looking at for sales is this level here. Really strong resistance, anticipating that as the false break, and price now coming back for the retest. So I'm looking at sales for Euro Pound again, back down into this level, and then if you can break through that, back down into those lows there. Again, this pair is still bearish, so still overall looking for those selling opportunities unless you start taking out some of those key levels up there. So Euro Pound, we've already seen a bit of rejection there, so hopefully you can come back up and retest that coming onto Monday. But essentially looking for sales to take this back down into that support, which again we didn't even retest, so that's another reason why we could see that move to the downside. Looking for a push into that level, which is around 0.85200, and if you can get a break of that and move back down into 0.84600 down there. So overall sales next week for Euro Pound. Okay, so next up we got AUD USD. So for this pair we did see some downside. I was expecting price to come a little bit higher into around the 0.76 area before we do start to sell off for this pair, but as you can see, USD was quite strong this week. Price just missed out this level and did dip to the downside. So overall, AU looking a little bit bearish, but we are coming back into some key levels, which is this resistance here now turned support, which price is holding on to. As you can see, that bearish candle there failed to break through. Now we've got this doji here, which price has also failed to break through as well, pull back up, holding that resistance now as support. So if we do break through this level, then I'm expecting price just to fill this gap to the downside and just continue that range between this. As you can see, when price does break in, it does pretty much fill that gap quite easily. So if we do break through this support here to the downside, we'll look for the break and retest of that level and look for continuations back down into these lows. If not, and we can hold this level, then I would anticipate price coming back to highs for AUD and maybe going to hit my 0.76 level up there, because as you can see, price is looking like it might be turning bullish. We have this bearish move here, really strong bullish move, giving us a new high low there, new higher high. This potentially could be a higher low for continuations, or we might pull back further into this area. So overall, anticipate what's going to happen at this level here. Again, do wait for daily candle close just to confirm to see if price is breaking underneath or not, because you can see here on the 4H we closed below, but on the daily it's just a doji and we're still holding that support. So do wait to see if the market will close below on the daily, and then you can look for the break and retest, and then in that case just looking for sells just to fill that gap to the downside. If not, and price does hold that support even more coming into next week, we'll be looking for buying opportunities back to highs for next week for AUD. Okay, now I'm going to move on to NZD CAD. So NZD CAD overall, this pair is a little bit choppy now, do have to admit. We did see a nice bullish run there, and price is having a hard time breaking past this, but also moving to the downside as well. We have this key level that we've been focusing on here for NZD CAD to see if we can hold above or start to break back below. As you can see, really strong resistance over here, failed to break through it, and then we had the breakout. We had a big move all the way up to around the 0.9 mark. So it looks like price is breaking above but still holding this level as support. Again, we had a very strong bearish candle here, price is snapping back above, and looks like it's still holding that as support. So as long as we stay above this level, I'm bullish on NZD CAD, looking for another swing back up to 0.9. If we can get back below, then we will start looking at some of these levels here for NZD CAD, which price can really come back to. But overall, NZD is still looking like a strong pair. And I think CAD could be taking a breather this week. So if price stays above this level from a daily perspective, which so far looks like it's doing, I'm anticipating price to continue to the upside. So overall, do have a bullish bias for NZD CAD, looking for higher lows to be put in, and then looking for continuation to the upside. So looking for buys this week for NZD CAD. Again, looking for a push, at least back into these highs here on the left. But essentially, I think we can push this target a lot further into 0.9, come test some daily resistance all the way up there. If not, and we break back underneath this level, that's fine as well. We will be looking for that retest and then a continuation back down and test that support down there. But looking for buys primarily. If not, and we break below, we'll change our bias quite quickly. Again, not marrying our bias. We'll wait for the break and retest and sells back down into that level there. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at pound NZD. So pound NZD, as you can see, is still very bearish here. We're looking for some retracement this week back up, but price is still continuing that momentum. You can see on the weekly chart, we're still playing with that bearish momentum all the way from that previous lower high, and it hasn't taken a breather since, and it looks like we are breaking through this key support. So I'm expecting if pound NZD does keep up this momentum and this is not a false break, I'm expecting price to come back down to these lows eventually here. So we could be seeing this bearish trend continue a lot longer. We've been seeing this bearish trend on pound AUD as well, and I think both of them are pretty much in sync and probably will continue for the next few weeks or so. So pound NZD overall still quite bearish pair. Do have a key support here, and if we can get below this support, then I think we will really take out those lows down there, and we are coming into this. So overall looking for sales, not really trying to push the pair, you know, to the upside when momentum is so bearish right now, and as well we're breaking through a very key level in 1.91. so we'll see what happens on the retest of this level. If we can hold below this, then sales will be looking good. Get back above it, then you can look for buys, but just be careful because momentum is with the bears even on the higher time frames as well. So you might get back above it, but we can easily just get back straight below. You know, a bit of false break could happen and we just see further continuations, and we'll be looking for a push into the 1.88500 area. So overall, still looking at sell bias for pound NZD. First one, waiting for that retracement. Do have a nice level here of support there on the 4H as well, and also that key level there on the daily. We'll be looking for a push to the downside back down into those lows there. So hopefully you can get some retracement. There's a chance that we might just lead to the downside. If that's the case, probably we'll leave price alone, wait to see if we can get a reaction and then sell it back down again. Or if we just start retracing coming onto Monday, we'll be looking for sales from around this level here and then take it right back down to those lows at 1.8880. So yeah, overall still bearish on pound NZD as long as we can stay underneath this level, and we'll be looking for sales back down into those lows. Okay, so next up we got CAD JPY. So CAD JPY did see some bearish momentum this week, which was expected. We slapped into 93 a couple weeks ago, maybe maybe a couple weeks ago actually. And we've been expecting to see a bit of a dip to the downside because we've been flying up to the upside since 85 back down here without much retracement. So we definitely do need to see CAD JPY take some retracement and some some bearish momentum, and we're starting to see that come in now. We've been looking for a push into this level here for CAD JPY this week, and as you can see, we got a nice push into this resistance, now 10 support at 91. So overall, two things can happen. We can see price move to the upside and turn bullish again, or continue bearish, which is what I'm favoring for CAD JPY. Still looking for selling opportunities, and I do think we can see a push into this level here as price comes further down, because if I do get a fib on this move here from the lows all the way up to the highs, you can see the 0.382 is just actually underneath that level, so we could still retrace into that. 50% is down there, so we might even go and hit 50% potentially. So there is still a lot more room to the downside, so we'll be looking at sells coming into this week for CAD JPY. So hopefully we can get underneath this properly, break through, bit of retracement, sell it to the downside, and then we'll be taking sells on that position on the retest and take it back down into 90, which is kind of the next psychological level below 91. So we've hit 91, now expecting the break of that, the retest, and we'll be looking for a push into 90 there. So overall, still looking for sales for CAD JPY. If you do start bouncing on that, then yes, you can look for buys. I'm not really favoring that move so much because I'm still expecting some of these JPY pairs to be retracing, taking breathers, so I'm not interested in buys. I think yes, we might see a reaction off that, but we'll probably later come and break through. So more focused on the sales this week for CAD JPY, hoping to get a break underneath and the retest and the continuation, and we'll ride that back down into 90 down there. Okay, so next we're going to move on to pound USD. So for this pair, we did see quite a big move to the downside this week. We did have that overall bearish bias. I did say this week we'll be looking for a push into this move. If we did break through this, I did say we probably will come back down to these lows. But again, I was not expecting price to do that this week. And we did have the news that came in for pound interest rate decision, and that obviously had a big impact on where price is right now. But we were looking for a push to downside, a break and retest of this level up there, the 4H, which we didn't quite see. If you can see here, this really nice support there. Was looking for a break and retest, didn't quite get there, but price did sell off to the downside there when the fundamentals did come in. So pound USD overall is quite a bearish pair. Looking for buys in this area and sells from this area, because firstly we never came back for the retest of this, so I can see price finding support here. We did have a very strong reaction previously, so we could easily see that again. So looking for buys around here, but also we did not retest that. So when we do get here, we'll be looking for sells at this area again. As you can see, a really strong support there in the market, was resistance, a bit of support there as well. will be resistance again, and we'll be looking to sell it back down. So looking to play kind of a bit of a range for pound USD between this support here at 1.34245 and this resistance here at 1.36183. So looking for buys and sells off that. Again, wait for your price action, because especially waiting for the price action on this buy here, because we are buying up against momentum of the daily, the weekly time frame. But because we've had such a strong reaction before, if we do see a strong reaction again and some nice price action, there will probably be a good signal and a good long trade to take, and we could be seeing a retest of those highs up there. So again, hopefully price can come back down, retest that level, show some nice rejection, and we can get a nice opportunity to go long and retest that. And then when we do get here, we'll be looking for sales simply again to sell it back down. Very, very strong resistance which never got retested. So looking to play the range this week for pound USD, looking for buys at these lows at 1.34200 and looking for those sells that are 1.36100 for next week. Okay, so now we're going to move on to pound CAD. So as you can see, pound CAD continued that momentum this week to the downside, which was expected. We were looking for that push into these lows here on the left. And then if we can manage to take out those lows, and again, fundamentals did help for this one, we were looking for a push into 1.68, which is this next psychological level, just underneath those lows, which you can see price is holding now, but did see a move into. So we did see that nice sell-off move that we were looking for pound CAD. Price overall still looking very bearish. And if I go into the higher time frames like the weekly, you can see we really have sold off for the past few weeks now. So price is coming to a very key support. Weekly support, you can say. As you can see, strong reactions to the upside from this level, so we might see a reaction, but I do think eventually this support will break. We might either go and break it next week, or we might move up just to go and break it again. But price for me has really struggled to move to the highs, so I'm expecting price to take out these lows and see a lot more downside in the future. So this could be a nice area to look to buy from coming into next week, but like I said, I expect it to break eventually, so don't want to be holding on to buys here for too long. There could be some nice reactions here of 2-3 days of seeing some bullish momentum before price does come back down again. So for next week, we'll be looking for buys off this level here, similar to the setup on pound USD, looking for a push to the upside for 2-3 days back up into that resistance, then looking for price to essentially come back down again. So looking for buys from here. Targets could be this support here, which never got retested as resistance, so still fresh resistance there, or coming into this resistance here, which price did sell off from, depending where you want to put your targets, how aggressive you want to take this trade as well, and what type of risk reward you're looking for. But essentially looking to hold that support again, wait for price action to confirm the trade, because just because it's a very strong support doesn't mean we have to hold it. Like I said, we could still just go and break it next week. So if we can hold into this, we'll be looking for buying opportunities to take that back into this level, and then depending if you want to push the trade on further, we can look for a push into those levels up there next week for pound CAD. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to pound JPY. So pound JPY again had a bearish bias this week, looking for price to sell off to the downside. Again, price was looking at testing this level here, where it was actually holding above that level. I said if you do hold this level as support, could see continuation to the upside, because again the trend is with the bulls overall in the higher time frames. But if you do break below, wait for the retest, and we did see a really nice drop there. Again, news did help out, but we did see a push to the downside, and I was looking for a push into 154, but you can see price smashed through that and actually came into this target down here, which was a bit more of a long-term target, but of course news sped that up. So overall, pound JPY still looking quite bearish here with the immediate price action. We're coming into this support, so we could either see price take a breather now, see a little bit of move to the upside, really strong resistance in the past, as you can see. So we might see a push to the upside from this level, kind of 153, nice psychological level as well. Or we could break through and go and test the next resistance here, which again is another resistance that we never retested. So still, it could be a nice incentive for price to come back and retest this level here, kind of 152, the next psychological level below 153. So overall, we'll be looking to see what happens at this support. Do we hold it and see some nice buys from this, or do we break through, wait for the retest, and look continuations into the next level below. So that is kind of the plan for the week for pound JPY, because I can see price moving up and retracing some of this bearish move, but at the same time pound might still be weak coming into the following week. So we could be looking at break and retest and just looking for continuations to the downside. And like I said, targets will be that support down there, 152. If we hold it, then we'll be looking for buys. We'll wait for price action to obviously line up, and this low here we never got retested. Actually, as you can see, that will probably be a really nice target there, really nice support takeout. Didn't see the retest, so fresh resistance we could see price pull back into. So either which one, still really good opportunities for both of them. Again, we could see that bearish momentum continue. If not, we see price hold that support, we'll flip the buys to bullish, wait for some confirmations and look to buy it back into that level up there for next week. Okay, so let's have a look at gold. So gold, we're seeing a lot of bullish momentum here towards the end of the week. Was expecting price to continue to roll over to the downside. You can see here we had this bearish structure here, lower high low, lower high low, lower high low. So we were looking for that momentum to continue this week. Again, I did say watch for a break of this low, could be seeing some nice continuation. However, we pushed to the upside for a lot of bullish momentum. As you can see, price is looking quite bullish here on gold. I think we can probably see it move into this resistance here, the way price is moving, taking out those highs. So I think price will probably see a push into that level and also breaking above this key level of resistance here. You can see resistance, support, resistance, resistance, breaking above. So I think there's a good possibility we'll see that continue. If we do get there and we see some rejection like we've done in the past, there'll probably be some nice sells back down into this level. I wouldn't push it further than that, just because price is looking like for gold it might be getting ready to reverse to the upside. And if we do see DXY take a dive and see a lot of weakness for the US dollar, then gold will typically continue to move to the upside. So I'm not too sure if we'll see such a big move down and such a big reaction from that level, which we have seen in the past, very strong reactions to the downside. So we'll be looking at sells here for gold for push into that level. If we do retrace down, that would be a great opportunity for some buys on the retest of this previous high. That'll turn support. We'll be looking at continuations into that level, but again, not too sure if we will see that retracement. Price might just continue that momentum, but if we do, that is a nice move to look to get involved on. If not, we'll be looking at sales and pushing it back down into those lows. Again, maybe stop loss to break even, take some partials, because we might not make that move if price does want to break out, of course, and if DXY does take a dive. So we'll be looking at buys and sells, just playing that range of the market between 1828 at the highs, and obviously 1808 there at the low. So looking to play that range next week for gold, and just seeing where price will go and which levels will it hit. And last but not least, we've got Bitcoin. So Bitcoin overall still bullish on Bitcoin, expecting price to move back to highs, probably some higher highs soon, maybe even 100k soon. We still holding above this key level of resistance there, taking that across. You can see really strong resistance there, and now price is holding that as support. So as long as we stay above this, still anticipating a move to the upside. And you can see we also kind of got a local level of support here. The price is failing to push through, and it's giving us like 100 wicks there underneath that level with a forced break of this move here. So overall still buys to the upside there for Bitcoin, looking for a move back into these highs here, which is around 67k, and I think we'll probably push into 70k next. So looking to see if we can get some buys on this, probably wait for a nice bullish reaction from this level. We're looking a little bit choppy now, so if you can see a nice bullish push to the upside there, nice momentum candle, that could be a nice entry trigger. And overall looking for buys back up into that level up there, which is still a strong resistance, because price is failing to break through this level, which is kind of keeping price moving sideways for Bitcoin. So that could probably be your first target. That could be your first target here, but essentially looking for a push into the highs. So if you do want to take the less riskier route wait for a break and retest of that level there. As you can see, really strong resistance, and then get some trades in there, or add additional trades if you didn't catch the move from back down here, and then same target back to 67k up there. So overall still bullish on Bitcoin, looking for continuations back to highs and maybe some higher highs as well.
Okay guys, so that is the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed that, found that useful. Like always, agree or disagree with my analysis, or have any questions or don't understand anything, leave a comment down below and I'll make sure I'll get back to you. If you did enjoy it, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of the same content, and also hit the bell so you don't miss out on any uploads in the future. But that is all for today guys. Hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next week.